I really like that with my hair situation. Why are you laughing?
Because I was thinking about you, but my hair, I couldn't stop it.
I'm done. I tried.
You did so great.
I tried. We've all lost our minds.
Welcome back to the recap show. You may have noticed that we've switched seats. It's very unsettling. How do you feel over there?
I like it. Looking at my two girls. So cute. This is my morning. Every morning, this is what I see. Maybe not you dressed up like this.
What? I wake up like this.
In all your many robes. But no, this is cute.
We have an amazing episode in store, but before we get into this, I thought it would be great for us to just make note of the amazing rippling effects from the Olympics. And obviously, the end of the Olympics was stained with what felt just like a sour taste on laughing at the women's hockey team for winning gold. And I was sort of like, how is this all going to shake out? And what I saw and what I have seen and continue to see is instead of clapping back, I've seen this wave of uplifting women, celebrating women, and so many fun, energizing things that instead of pointing to the bad have just been so good.
Absolutely. I mean, I think the women's stories of the Olympics just kind of spoke for themselves. They were the most exciting and honestly most winningest stories that we had these Olympics. Obviously, the comparison between the men's and women's hockey team both winning gold, but I was watching the SNL episode where they had on both hockey teams, and there was one part that was so funny because it was the men hadn't won in I don't know,
decades.
Some insane amount of time, and which is really exciting. Congrats to our men's team. But then the women were like, yeah, we haven't won in 2 Olympics or something like that. And it just you're just reminded it how awesome just the statement of what you do is. And I think what we're seeing now is just women celebrating themselves, but also the community celebrating them for just how awesome and badass and unapologetic they are while winning, while being successful, while driving the interests of women's sports is this is just the now.
Yeah, and I think it's so cool because there was this initial instinct that I had that was don't laugh at us women, we're laughing at you. And you think that's sort of the first generation of feminism is anger at the patriarchy and the fact that this is even happening in 2026. But it was better. The reaction was better because it was about creating celebrations and uplifting each other versus taking anybody down. And even the men and the women joining together on SNL, that was a nice moment, a nice gesture. Flava Flav throwing a party. It's okay, maybe you're not being celebrated in this space, so I'm going to create a new space that's all about the women and the Olympians. And now I've seen so many different iterations of people welcoming the women's hockey team to different spaces and just wanting to celebrate them. And then you see campaigns like Ally, where you have world-class athletes sharing their favorite moments of celebration in sports and just really shining the light on the very best of women's sports and leaving the rest behind.
Yeah, and it's so great because these women, they're now owning their worth and their value in these huge moments where the rest of the world is looking at them. And it's kind of yeah, I won. And yeah, all of you are talking about me and my team. And there's just this wonderful ownership of the space and acknowledgement of what's happening. And I think partners like Ally are just continuing to shed a light on just how successful these women athletes are and how many people care about how successful they are and how many people are inspired by them. And it is,
I love what you just said. There was a nuance there. It's about the feeling that we have as women athletes where we're allowed to want things. We're allowed to want to win. We're allowed to be better than everybody else. and to want money. And it's not that anyone else is allowing us. It's like we're allowing ourselves.
Yeah. And I think we're moving past this generation of kind of like having to say what we are and what we're doing. And now we're just doing it. Like, it kind of reminds me of like that shirt, everyone watches women's sports. It's almost like we had to declare it. Like, was everybody watching women's sports? No. But it was like we had to declare the future, right? It was just saying it. And now it's like we're just moving past it. It's like we're not saying anything anymore. We're just doing it. We're appearing on television. We're appearing in marketing. People are investing. Like, we're just doing it. We're just living it. And this is as natural as, you know, any other moment. Like, we don't even have to say it anymore. We can just live it as women athletes.
I love this. You always say words create worlds. We created this world and now we're living in it.
We're living in it.
Keep Pedaling is sponsored by Peloton. Peloton is built for breakthroughs, and with the new Cross-Training Bike Plus, you'll find endless ways to move and reach your goals effortlessly. As we hit the point in the new year where we're tempted to ease out of our resolutions, we're looking to pedal on with Peloton. As we enter Women's History Month, we are thinking about women in sports and beauty standards and how they have made us feel on the field and off. So Tobin, what does it mean to you to put your game face on?
I haven't done it in a while.
That's true.
Yeah.
Dig back into the archives.
Yeah, I'll have to dig back. But I think there were a lot of iterations of this because obviously when you first start playing, you're not thinking about that whatsoever. I mean, at least at 4 years old, maybe subconsciously I was.
No.
But I can remember times where I felt like I had to be different. For me, I always wanted to be easy. You know, I try to eliminate as many things as I have to think about when preparing for a game. So, for instance, I wore my hair the same way my whole entire career. I remember one time, actually, I was playing at Chicago. You were on the Chicago team, and it was so windy, and I have these like flyaway wispies that there was literally so much hair in my face that I wore pre-wrap for the first time in my life, and I felt like a weird person.
How'd you play?
I don't know. Probably. Actually, we never lost to Chicago, so we either tied or won.
I think we tied and I scored and I hit the ball off the crossbar.
Ooh.
Anyways,
the wind.
I digress.
It was probably going in, but it was probably the wind. So my hair was easy, and then I never wore makeup, and it wasn't until I actually went to play at PSG that all of a sudden there were such intense beauty standards as a part of that culture. I remember one of the first things, one of the coaches grabbed my hand, grabbed sounds very aggressive, but took my hand and looked at my nails, and they weren't painted. And he was like, like saying that was like not okay. And so then I started painting my nails, and then I started getting compliments for painting my nails. And then I kind of enjoyed it, like an art like thing. And then another thing is
that
I
shows
remember
how adaptable you are, by the way.
Yeah. Well, look, we live in a society where you get treated differently as a woman if you do certain beauty standards. So then there was another experience that I had when I was there where I put makeup on my face. I don't know if it was there was a reason other than going to soccer practice that I had makeup on my face, right?
Why are you saying it? I had makeup on my face like it's magically got there.
It just showed up. Anyways, and one of the coaches, again, this was a different coach, said, "I like your face, how it looks." And then obviously I was like, and he then started commenting about that I should wear makeup.
Overtly? Okay.
Originally, but then every time I would wear makeup or anytime my nails were done, there was some kind of like interaction that happened about these beauty standards. And then, so basically for the time that I played in Paris and maybe a little bit after, like I started wearing makeup, not a lot, playing and painting my nails. That didn't last very long. obviously I came back to the US and I kind of settled down into my roots and I never wore makeup or painted my nails again.
You are adaptable, but you're also true to you. And eventually you'll always make it back to that low po. First, I have to set the record straight. I hit the crossbar and then it went in. So that's what I was saying.
Oh.
I scored. So the wind didn't mess me up. I calculated the wind.
Either way, the wind either didn't allow for you to score or that's the reason why you scored. The wind was a major factor that day.
It is the reason I scored because I calculated the wind and then I hit the perfect shot and then it went in off the crossbar. Now.
You're good. I don't know if you're that good.
That should be said in the past tense. Okay. Secondly, your experience in France, in my opinion, is every single woman in sports experience every single day, except for it was said out loud. What I
think that's the cultural difference.
Yeah, the overtness. Like someone actually talked to you about your face. Like that's a lawsuit in our country. But like actually it's happening under the current, you know, and it's all happening subconscious. And you know what? No, not everyone feels it in the same degree. But I'll say from my experience, like I definitely felt the benefit of like presenting myself in a nice way. As an athlete, you're an entertainer and you're in an arena and you have a camera up your face and like every single thing you do is being judged and people want to know your personality and your character. And in a lot of ways, makeup's like a little bit like a little bit of an armor, like a barrier between you and protecting yourself and the rest of the world and how they see you. And for me, my pregame was slicking my hair back with massive amounts of hairspray and a giant brush and using like 7 ponytail holders because one time my ponytail caused me not to score. It was a bun, but my hair caused me not to score and I was like, never again. So then I would just slick it back. But that experience of like wanting my ponytail to be slick and big and beautiful and then I could feel it pulling my face and then I would put on so much sunscreen. It was like war paint. And I think that feeling made me feel like protected and ready to play. And I think you hear a lot of athletes like, because this is the world we live in, like whether or not you're wearing makeup as a female athlete is actually asked because you're asked to explain yourself. You hear like look good, feel good, play good. And I think that's true. Like I wanted to look good. It did help me feel good. So hopefully I could play good. But also there's like another level of that where I wish I could feel good. Whatever I decided to do. Like I wish that I could look in the mirror and feel good without feeling like I had to look slightly different or better. And I think ultimately what I grapple with is this tension between wanting to love myself for how I am and be natural and age and have wild curly hair and then this patriarchal male gaze beauty standard that is, you know, the ideal of white beauty and it is like very much like male oriented, male gazing at women that has like constructed what I even think is beauty. So then I'm like, well, if I feel good, am I feeling good because I'm subscribed to some ideology that I don't actually agree with?
Oof, this is a lot.
We're going to continue this conversation, but I think ultimately when you feel strong, and it doesn't matter where that comes from. That was Keep Pedaling, sponsored by Peloton. Let yourself ride, lift, sculpt, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Bike Plus at onepeloton.com. Thank you, Peloton.
You know that feeling when you're at minute 88, your lungs are screaming and you've got one sprint left in the tank to save the game? Yeah, me neither. I'm retired. But for those of you still out there chasing glory, meet the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus. It's powered by Peloton IQ, which is basically like having a world-class strength coach in your ear, minus the whistle and the 6 a.m. yelling. Peloton IQ takes the guesswork out of the grind. It sets your goals and suggests weights so you aren't just lifting, you're actually making progress. Plus, there's a new movement tracking camera that counts your reps and corrects your form in real time. When you're ready to switch from cardio to the heavy stuff, the Swivel Scream is a game changer. Go for a 45-minute run on the Tread Plus, then, with one smooth spin, hit the floor for a strength training session. It's built for a well-rounded routine because we know your schedule is more packed than a stadium on Derby Day. Best part? Peloton IQ builds your personal workout roadmap. You get weekly recommended classes led by instructors who match your mood, your vibe, and your personality. With personalized plans and deeper insights, Peloton IQ helps you finally unlock those new breakthroughs. Let yourself run, lift, sculpt, push, and go. Explore the new Peloton Cross Training Tread Plus at onepeloton.com. Spring is in the air, and with it comes trips, events, and the start of a busy season. If you're like me, between work, family, and everything else, shopping for a whole new wardrobe just isn't realistic. That's where Daily Look comes in. Daily Look is the #1 highest rated premium personal styling service for women. You get your own dedicated personal stylist who selects a box of clothes just for you, based on your body shape, style, and lifestyle, delivered right to your door. These are real stylists, not an algorithm, and you get the same stylist every time, so your wardrobe stays consistent and personalized. Each box can include up to 12 premium pieces. Try everything on at home. Keep what you love, return the rest, free shipping both ways. With flexible delivery every 30, 60, or 90 days, refreshing your spring wardrobe has never been easier. Daily Look saves you time and effort so you can enjoy the season in style. Elevate your style by signing up at dailylook.com today. Take your styling quiz at dailylook.com and get 50% off your first styling fee with the code RECAP. That's dailylook.com, code RECAP.
So it's been a while since we did everyone's favorite segment, community questions, but thanks to our beautiful community who continues to send those questions. And now we have the perfect opportunity to get quite a few of them as we are going to do a mailbag episode.
I'm so excited. You know how much I love community questions.
And you've got a hat full of them.
I have not just a hat, but like a relic. Look at this hat. This is a
Tobin,
relic.
that was right from your Mind Palace.
It was. Yeah, and I'm going to wear it home.
The Velcro patch hat.
So I usually don't cheat, but I saw Massachusetts on one of these, and I kind of buried it. All right. You ready to start? Just so that the Massachusetts one, I might get it still. Okay, Allison from New York asks, that's better. What football rule would you like to see change either in general or in a specific league or competition?
What football rule?
Can I answer this?
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. I'm going to try to go quick here, but I want to change the offside rule to that there has to be space between the defender and the attacker for it to be ruled offside. So it's advantageous to the attackers and we'll have more goals in football. That's my first one. My second one is to address the issue of goalkeepers faking injuries for tactical reasons. We are working on this one, but there will definitely be a rule in place to address that because it is just ridiculous. Not the spirit
Why
of football.
Are we encouraging people to go down and hold their leg and like
it's
pretend
like honestly
that's
acting.
like bad juju.
Everyone's acting.
I know.
You know,
I really agree with that.
Everyone's acting. So and also, well, no, that's
what about getting rid of the flip throw?
I mean, just automatic, uncool, and yeah, honestly, yeah, that would be my rule. Like, no flip throws. If you can throw a ball, like, really long, like a Jess McDonald,
what's going on with your neck over there?
Well, I don't know how they throw it that far.
They actually have they have the ability to extend their back, actually.
Oh, yeah, I can't do that.
That's where you're going wrong.
Yeah, no. But anyways, yeah, those are 3 rules. We've got a lot to do.
I agree with all 3.
Okay. I'm going to keep picking, but you can decide if you want to answer them. Putri from New Zealand asks, what part of women's sports culture do you hope never changes, even as it gets bigger?
Rolling the shorts. Just kidding. This is where my mind went. Let's think if I can think of something smart.
I have one. I hope that we continue to build around the people who have contributed to where the leagues and the teams are today.
What do you mean by that?
I think it's so easy to once women's sports, and it's happening right now, there's so much more money involved. It's so easy then to take deals with the, or would you call them the like incumbents, like basically the huge sports infrastructures that exist. But I would say like continue to invest in women, continue to invest in queer-owned spaces, continue to invest in women's sports media that like started with women's sports.
Mm-hmm. I know what you mean.
That's what I would say, because I think we will just, we won't be able to recognize ourselves in 10, 20 years if we just become like the sports version that was before.
No, I love that. And I think about the fact that women playing sports in itself was like almost like a movement or like part of a revolution. And that's sort of where we got our culture, was just the idea of seeing women at the highest level being celebrated, being put on billboards as superheroes, was just like an act of, I don't know, reinvention of culture. And as we get bigger and women get paid and things do become more successful, I hope we can keep that spirit alive, that we get to redefine the rules to how we do things, that we don't have to follow a pattern of sports that has been created for and by men. And, as the money flows in, I think there's this element that we've always had of like local community and welcomingness and inclusion, I think is the word, that there is space to grow it, and we've created our own community space. That's where these questions come from, our space. And like, as it grows, I constantly think about safety. And when you're building a community, the more people there are, the more fear you have for safety. But what I've seen in our community is that because the spirit of why we've convened, why we've created this community, because that spirit is our origins, it's able to stay alive. And I think that that's like the essence of the women's sports community and culture.
That was so beautiful. Tali from Boston asks, I have a sense from what you two, as well as other queer women athletes have shared, that the feelings and experiences of being openly queer have changed a lot over the last 20, 10, and even 5 years. What have you noticed in terms of changes of how queer women athletes are viewed and talked about? And from the inside, what the experience of queer women athletes has been during these different periods. Have you felt certain changes, and when did you feel those? Where do you still want to see the narratives or experiences go if you'd like to see further changes or development in this?
Oh my goodness. That's an amazing question. And I was recently reflecting on my queer history, like my own personal coming out. And I think now where we sit, it feels like you and I didn't struggle, that we've been welcomed and that it was easy to come out and that we have this beautiful love story. And that's far from the truth. And I don't know why in our individual, traumas or processing our life, I don't think either of us have really dug into what our coming out experience has been yet. We are working on ourselves always, but it was actually really traumatic and hard for us. And we both grew up in a time where on our club teams as kids, there probably weren't any out gay women. On my college team, there was no gay out women. There were women that we found out were in relationships secretly. There was a lot of taboo around that. And coming out to our parents for both of us was really, really hard and very associated with soccer. My parents, and especially my mom, thought I was gay because I played soccer. And I think we just personally lived through a period where there was a lot more women out in sports. And so when we left the sport, it felt like it was a welcomed space for gays and for lesbians in women's sports. But that wasn't how the space was when we entered it. I'm sure it's been progressively better. So I mean that with complete reverence for the people who had it even harder before us. But I think we both navigated it very carefully, very cautiously, and we've been lucky to feel like incredibly embraced by our community. But it came with a lot of hardship too. And I don't know what it's like now for people in club soccer and college. I don't know if there's a lot more openly gay women. I assume so. I get the sense that the next generation is a lot more fluid with their labels, but maybe that's not true. What do you think?
I think I hope maybe it's easier, but I never found it to be easy whatsoever. But I do think that there is a safe space that women's sports has created for the queer community in certain locker rooms that we've been in. But there are certain times where even the locker room didn't feel safe. So
yeah.
I think that it's a complicated question because I think it's like we've Instagrammed this, right? Like, we have now a version that people like to see, which is like, you know, you ship people and there's, you know, now out couples on the same team, on different team in different leagues. And like we've Instagrammed it to make it look like all like
shiny,
easy and funny and like cool. But like there's a lot of hardship in all things in life. And I don't think it's easy whatsoever. And when I see players that are open and currently playing, like I know for a fact it's not easy. So I'm glad that kind of like bravery and that type of visibility is making people think that, and we have come a long way, but I still think it's a very complicated and difficult and fearful time. And yeah, that's my personal feeling about it.
Yeah, no, it's true, and it's almost like an odd thing in my mind that I don't remember it the way it really was, you know? Mm-hmm. But I think ultimately I feel really grateful that the women's soccer community has given us such a gentle hug at the end here.
Totally. JC from Fargo. If Tobin is a red-tailed hawk, what kind of bird is Christen? LOL. California quail, Anna's hummingbird, scrub jay, chickadee, for some options.
How did you become a hawk?
A red-tailed hawk. And I want to know that too because this is my family bird.
Oh my gosh, so they must know that.
How would they know that?
Because you talked about it on the recap show.
I have never talked about that. And honestly, it's personal.
That you did. It was something to do with your grandma getting a hawk as a gift.
No, no. When we see a red-tailed hawk, it's my grandpa.
No, I know, but Graham got a red-tailed hawk gift for her birthday, and you talked about it on the show.
Do you still want to go ahead with this question?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So you're a red-tailed hawk because you actually are, but you're nervous because it's personal. So what?
I'm not a red-tailed hawk. I guess it's just symbolic in my family.
Honestly, you're pretty hawk-like.
Really?
Yeah. When I see a hawk, I'm like, wow. I'm definitely the hummingbird because I recently saw a hummingbird and those things are flapping their wings so fast and working so hard to fly.
You are.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. There was one morning recently when you were just talking at me at 1,000 miles an hour and I hadn't said anything and I just looked over at you and you looked like a hummingbird.
Yeah. It's like hummingbirds are so beautiful and everyone's like, oh, I love hummingbirds. But the reality is that they can barely fly. And they are working so freaking hard.
That's so mean. I think they look like great flyers.
No, they are working so hard to come off looking good, but it is a struggle. It's like, you know, the duck under the water, but the hummingbird's doing it straight in your face. But their wings are flapping so fast that you can't even see them. It's just a blur, and that's why it's beautiful.
You know why you also could be a hummingbird? Because they like sugar water.
Okay, one more. I'm having
she
too much
said
fun.
one more. She said one more. Oh, Ashley from Massachusetts asks, knowing what you know now, 1, is there a specific choice you made in your career that you would change? 2, how do you feel about never playing on a club team together in NWSL?
I know that Tobin will answer the second one, that she feels effing good about ever being my teammate because she really likes having her own identity. So there's that. Okay, the first part's a hard question because I don't really look backward. They say that each person's like oriented past, present, or future, and I'm future oriented. I do my schedule 1,000 times. So I don't think I have a regret. But I would have scored a hat trick in the World Cup final instead of Carly Lloyd.
Oh my gosh, good one.
How about that?
I have something.
Okay.
There was a moment in the 2019 final, that I still can remember the feeling where I wanted to chip the goalkeeper. The ball was at my foot, and like my mind like said chip, and I didn't do it. And I still remember that feeling.
Oh my gosh.
And I wish I did it.
Oh my gosh. So when you started talking, I thought you were going to say there was a moment in the World Cup final in 2019 that I was wide open and you could have passed it to me.
You remind me of that, but I never saw that.
And you took the touch wide and you hit it in the outside side net.
That's when I was supposed to chip it.
You were probably thinking about chipping it.
I probably was thinking about chipping it.
I actually thought you were going to say here on the recap show that you wish you had passed it to me and you had been playing it over and over in your head.
Honestly, if that was an option that I had in my mind, I would for sure have regretted it, but it was never an option.
Yeah, because you were just seeing you in the chip. You were always one for glory.
Yeah, that sums me up.
Okay, well, these were great questions. Our community is the best in the whole world. We're so
lucky.
Really
and we have more questions, so we have to do this again.
We do. And the best part about I'm
going to keep these under my head so that just so I'll be thinking about our community all the time.
You know what's funny is your head looks like more of a normal size right now than normal.
You know what? I might even put these ones in. There you go. Yep.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So that way, like, whenever I'm thinking about our community, I can just pull one out.
Well, as I was saying, it's amazing that we get to have a two-way conversation with our community. And that we get to co-create this. And another important thing that everybody needs to know is we are now doing TRS Thursdays live. And I think it's being kicked off at Untamed Spirits. But we're hopefully going to do them at a lot of women's sports bars or sports bars that show a lot of women's sports.
And if you have any recommendations for any sports bars that you want to introduce to TRS Live, let us know. It's a place where, you know, we'll release every Thursday. We release TRS that you can, if you're a TRS fan, reimaginer, you can come together, meet some folks that also love TRS and might love you too.
Well, I will say we have this never watch alone about a game, but I think I really like the idea of everyone watching TRS in community.
Me too. Today's episode is brought to you by Alma. Therapy has played a huge role in helping me understand myself better, but honestly, finding the right therapist used to feel overwhelming. I didn't always know where to start, how to tell if somebody would really be a good fit, or whether my insurance would actually cover the cost. That's why I'm such a fan of Alma. Alma is on a mission to make high-quality, affordable mental health care easier to access. They built a nationwide network of over 20,000 diverse therapists, and you can browse their directory without creating an account. Alma lets you filter by things like gender, race, therapeutic approach, and insurance, so you can find someone who truly fits your needs. And with 99% of therapists accepting insurance, people who use Alma to find in-network care save an average of 80% on session costs. Plus, their free insurance cost estimator lets you know what you'll pay upfront. No surprises. A year from today, who do you want to be? You don't have to figure it out alone. The right therapist can help you get there. A year from today isn't that far away. Get started now at helloalma.com/recap. That's helloalma.com/RECAP.
So we have launched a new initiative called Where's Women's Football. And that initiative is times Where's Football? And what we are doing, which we're really excited about, is a new segment where we're going to be highlighting women and queer football communities around the globe and just celebrating how we come together around the joy of football.
Yeah, and we get to highlight a really cool community in Solose FC that will take us to our favorite, Mexico City.
Where is women's football?
Hola, I am Ferpiña. I am from Mexico City, my favorite city in the world, and this is the city that I represent. And I come from football. I played for the Mexican national team. I got a scholarship and played for LSU Tigers. And later on, I played for Club America here in Mexico. And today, my work lives between football, creativity, and community. My project is called Solose, and it means just being, like just be you. And Solose is a community-driven football project that creates open, mixed spaces in a public court in Mexico City where people come to play, to connect, to belong to a community, and also to feel free to express themselves. Playing in Mexico City feels intense, emotional, and it's alive. Football is everywhere. It's in the streets, in the conversations, in the TVs. It's in our daily life. It's an experience you truly have to live to understand. What makes Solose unique is that belonging comes before competition, that you don't have to change who you are to play here. The court becomes more of a cultural space, not just a sport, and a place where you connect with really kind people. You can laugh, you can move, and genuinely have a very good time. Solose is my baby. It was built from so much love, and over the time it has become a home for so many people. And I have done it mostly by myself, so I feel like now the project is ready to grow. And you guys can support through funding, partnerships, or collaboration, allow us to show up more consistently, to build a real team and expand the positive impact this space has on many people's lives in a long-term and sustainable way.
Where is